What's up, world? What's up, Zion? It's Prince Easy coming at you again, once more, as usual. I do have a couple slides that I want to share with you on this fine day that we're having here, right? This Saturday. Some call it the weekend, right? I don't know when we decided that, but it is what it is. Okay? So, again, I want to issue a disclaimer for the material that's going to be shared here, right? Copywritten material, that is. So, let's get to it, right? So, they are saying that it is pretty tense, right? I'm hearing Lufthansa is not taking flights anymore over there, right? To create this tense environment, right? While everything has cooled down, but it is. So, more stuff coming out of Venezuela, right? The new president is saying they're only continuing what was started, right, by Maduro. I hope so. Yeah, this is how you know the system is about to collapse, right? It's not that he has no quote-unquote emergency powers and whatnot to resolve this, no, but he has no interest, right? But the whole Greenland situation, he has money like that, just to, for the AES to destabilize the Burkina Faso, the Mali and Niger. He has money for that, right? So the problem here is not really France, right? It's this little Napoleon here, right? And we're gonna cover his hypocrisies, right? Of course, the UK is posturing even more and more. If you're not there for peace, then prepare for bombs to drop on you. Okay, let's just say that. Okay? So, for those who wanted a clear picture of what is happening in Iran and other countries like Cuba, for instance, this is what is happening. They restrict their ability to fend for themselves and to even fend for their people, and then come around and talk to their people and say, hey, we are your saviors and stuff. So the agenda should be undoing each and every one of these. Each and one of these, undoing them. It is just a matter of principle, and some might call it escalation, right? So what is the right thing to do in the face of this, right? What is the right to do in the face of this, right? Look at this disaster, right? And these people are pretending like these things are not, they're not there, like they're invisible some kind, That while everything is documented. Everything is documented. This is partially because of the UN, partially because of the EU, partially because of the US. Basically the US. For those who know what I'm saying. And he himself is coming out here now talking about we are locked and loaded, like, Is this supposed to be a joke? Now, people are suffering, people are dying, they're using that stuff as some sort of, I don't know, political leverage or something. This is sickness. This is sickness. Not even a case of short memory or dementia or something. Yeah. It is Russia who rejected the peace plan by the US, right? And then people ask, was it a 28 peace plan or was it a modified version, right? Because we are having issues tracking what is what at this point. Because you revised the US proposal, didn't you? But again, they have this tendency to pretend like, you know, stuff don't exist, right? Not Volodymyr Zelensky. This is Tusk, that idiot. Added that Russia only response to US peace effort has been further missile strikes on Ukraine cities. Yeah, this is a war. Do you think what do you think this is? And again, phrasing the Ukrainians as some sort of victim is ridiculous at this point. Okay? It is ridiculous. You know it, we know it. So who is this for? Maybe the idiotic masses that you have created. Those people who refuse to see things for what they are. They say this is why the only solution is to strengthen the pressure on Russia. And we all know it. Like who? Who and you? You bring pressure, they bring missiles. And we're going to see who's going to outlast who. Okay? Because this is turning to a circus. Right? And we are not running a circus here. Right? In an obvious jab at Trump, who he didn't mention by name, Macron criticized a new colonialism that is working among some Europeans have the means to be less dependent on the US, he added, revealing that 2/3 of the Ukrainian intelligence capabilities are now provided by France. Right? Coming from Macron, talking about a new colonialism, it has to be freaking rich, right? Especially when we have their agent locked up in Burkina Faso or Mali or Niger somewhere. I don't quite remember specifically. One of your agents locked up since last year, and you refuse to say nothing and do nothing about it. We're going to keep him to feed one single person. We're going to keep him. And that is going to be ample proof that you are the new colonialism that you're pointing out the US to be. That stuff that you've been doing now is happening to you. Now you're all freaking out. Look at this rich stupidity here, right? The president of France and Germany have sharply condemned US foreign policy under Donald Trump, saying respectively that Washington was breaking free from This has to be a joke, brothers and sisters. It has to be a joke, right? It has to be. Like, seriously. If we didn't know better, that is. The world risks turning into a robber's... Are you serious, Macron? A robber's den? You are the warden. Sheesh. So, the prof came out here. He made a very informative video. Very informative video, right? Now the discussion is, how do we then break this repeating cycle, right? Of revolutions and a little reproduction and evolution and a little reproduction, and you know. And we also talk about social mobility and whatnot, right? And how it backfires, right? This is a good conversation to have, right? For me personally, it's not a problem, right? Because again, mostly when in the context of it's all about what do they call it? Prestige, right? Prestige. That is for some, and for others it is just they need their value to be seen, so to speak, right? And that does not take everybody being in charge. No, right? You can be wherever you are and still make a great contribution, right? But again, if a person's life is not changing regardless of the contribution they have made, then that's another conversation. Okay? But again, the idea of social mobility is quite interesting. Hmm? I hear Macron is talking about the same nonsense. Hmm? It's quite interesting, right? To see that the same things that you have been doing all over the world are now happening to you, right? To see how your action is quite something, let's just say. Hmm? Hmm? We don't need signals. We need signed documents, legal signed documents. Emphasis on the legal, right? Do not come about later on talking about they refuse to let us sign nothing. No, we do not want signals. We want, right? You keep sending signals, it's gonna continue like that, right? I'm hearing you are declaring a state of emergency, right? You were high and mighty when you were blowing up Russian ships, weren't you? You're an embarrassment to humanity, not just to the Ukrainians, right? I feel for the Ukrainians, right? Just don't like you because you're an idiot, and even worse, an irresponsible idiot with an army, which makes it worse. An actual army that listened to you. I don't know what's above worse, right? You as a general, a whole general, listening and taking orders from Zelensky. And then later on down the line, you're going to say, the Constitution was demanded me to do so. Are you serious right now? You deserve to die. So you're going to die. Hmm? Is this supposed to be a joke or something? Drills against who? Yeah, maybe the invisible Russian and Chinese ships, you know. Hmm? Had left factions. Wow. This is shaping up to be great. Wait, hold up. There were no invisible Russian or Chinese ship near Greenland. So, yeah, we covered this whole situation. And of course, right after that, he intervened. And now stuff is coming out. Right? Maybe it's good. Maybe we'll not get you know, the LGBTQ content coming out of Netflix anymore. Perhaps that will be the relief. Hmm? These type of pastors, their days are numbered, you know. Their days are numbered. And there are many, even in Africa. Same rhetoric. Every Sunday. Just come out here, somebody's going to get blessed tonight. Somebody's going to get blessed this morning. You're going to become a millionaire at the end of the year. You're going to, all of these fake ass promises, you know, turning Jesus like into a genie, you know. Right? You just scratch this over here, then boom, you get your 3 wishes, you know. They treating God like that. Is that a QR code behind them or something, you know, for that instant transfer? What for? Sustaining their luxurious lives. Yep, the Cubans have spoken. Cuba, Iran, all under sanctions supported by the UN for some reason. Whilst we know that they are completely unfair. right? And don't give me that freaking coward. This should be changed. You know, that coward of the nuclear inspection stuff. Remember that coward during that war? France farmers, Germany farmers, they're out here. How about you go do something on your own? Because this will not help put food on your table. You need a change of strategy, right? Throwing cow dying and pouring milk is not gonna help you. They don't care for you, nor your children, nor your elderly. Look at Gaza. That should show you what your government thinks of humanity. Now you need to get wise and stop being idiotic and thinking that, you know, we're gonna riot and these riots are somehow gonna change the hearts of Merz and Macron somehow. Are you freaking serious? Those people are dead inside. If you haven't realized that, or if somebody hasn't told you that, right? Their level of corruption within them is... Another one is taken. You keep on delaying with the peace plan. Keep on, you know, like little children, you know, keep wondering who is going to talk to the Russians. You know, this is what the Europeans now are doing, you know. Who's going to talk to the Russians, you know? We told you, right? All of that talking shit is going to come and bite you in the back. Now it's doing it. The only person who's going to talk to the Russians, it's obvious. It's obvious. You better tell Oban to do it. Or his friend, I don't know, I don't remember the country, right? Those two countries that seem to have a common sense and had the gut to talk to Russia. How about you use them and you stay the hell away, and no media statements, no nothing. You just give them exactly what you want and the Russians are going to give you exactly what they want. That's how a negotiation works. Don't come out here trying to dictate nothing. Okay? Yeah. That's like how they choked on TV, on camera, a black man. They did the same thing, except he died for a counterfeit $20 billion, apparently. America is a joke at this point. The hypocrisy is the most concerning, you know, everywhere, even in Europe. Extremely concerning. Well, this 20%, how long did it take? 2 months. 2 months for everything to go up in flames, and you're telling me that this is not a conspiracy? Find a pressure point and you see these prices fall quick. Quite an informative speech, and there is truth in it. Yep. So that is you taking responsibility. Yeah, like you said, without any condition. All I want for you people is peace. I don't want nothing, right? Regardless of how the media is framing that somebody lost, somebody won. No, we all won. You all won. Okay, so provide security, feed the people. Right? Stop with this. It's a good thing, you know. There's a lot of fake stuff. There's a lot of propagation of fake stuff on the internet these days. It's a good thing, you know. Just like how the football or the face of football or soccer is changing, right? Because of the fakery and interests that have interfered, right? Why am I glad that it is so? Because, well, it gives opportunity for the cream to rise to the top. You know, people now are gonna make intentional, right, efforts to actually seek for the truth, right, and from among the fluff, and the nonsense and the non-important. So it's good, right? Let them continue with their fixing of games and propaganda and this and that. Let them do that, because what is going to remain at the end of the day are people who want genuine challenge and want true, they want to win in a true sense, in a righteous sense. That's the sweetest, right? That's the sweetest. Yeah. So let it continue like that, right? Right? He go hold the smoke, right? And he done did it. Well, pertaining to Somaliland, right? If you see any type of what do I call it, posturing for them to show that they are gonna prepare, right? Because if they wanna do anything big, they have to look at you first, right? So you are the especially something big in Gaza or pertaining to the Palestinians, right? They have to look at the biggest supporter over there in that region, right? In their armed struggle, right? Because there are various ways that some have chosen to support, right? So if you see any form of indication, right, of deployments of, I don't know, some batteries for air defense or some jets landing, you just strike. Don't even ask no question, no nothing, right? You have given the warning out in public. We have all seen it, okay? And we know what games these people are playing, and the only language they understand is bombs and drones, and speak their language. If they want peace, they get peace. If they want war, they get war. Plain and simple. It's not really hard mathematics of any kind, right? So do not doubt their audacity. Be pretty sure of it. They make move, you make a move. A clear statement, right? Because the Somaliland people are saying, we are not in cahoots with these people, the US and Israel. We are not in cahoots with these people. We actually, okay, we're going to find out. Look at this, right? Last time it was the Chechen leader. You can go to the post of the Sun, the category of the post on their channel on YouTube. And you see it, right? The Chechen leader is sick. He's about to die. He's rushed to Russia. Now it's the time of, I don't know, Putin's son. They call him the war dog. Putin's war dog leader. Wow. This is just funny, right? It's just funny because it is rich coming from him, right? You do something, we do something. And this is the reality they don't want to accept, right? But this guy here is the one that is going to give you a supposed message. I don't even know what Europe has to say to Russia at this point. We have heard everything and then some. So hey, they have an endeavor. right? Now they're trying to push each other, right? Meloni come out here, Macron came out here, Merz. Like, we need to speak to Russia. We need to do it. This is Poland. This is how they are preparing for a war, by deploying mines and stuff. You know. So, the things are evolving, right? From the coming second phase, right, of the settlement of the whole Middle Eastern issue. So I hear Oregon and the Egyptians have been invited. I think they should participate. That's my opinion, right? Orban has the potential to offer security backing, right? Because I'm sure he will not collide with Hamas in any way, right? Even the Egyptians, I don't think so, right? So they're important, right? In that region, they're important. They cannot be ignored nor left out, right? And Egypt could be used as a, to bring in supplies and stuff, right? Because that's what is needed at this point, right? Supplies, medication, and a mechanism, right? Because there are no hospitals over there, right? Those children who need extensive care, they should be taken care of, like, quick, right? And shout out to all of those countries that have done this before, right? Yeah, in this wicked world, there is no fame for something good, right? So do what you can at the opportunity that is available. So, you are not. You're not. You must be high on cocaine, right? Were you and that deputy talking about peace? This whole meeting here, I bet this whole meeting was not about finding ways and compromise to end the conflict. I bet. Right? He wants a just peace. What do you know about justice? You killed your own people before Russia intervened. You banned the language that your people speak. What do you know about justice? You're a joke, my guy. And the more you speak, the more that idiocracy permeates even through the screen that I'm using right now. You have made a sequence of decisions that has led your country to the edge, right? To the edge. And now you want to talk about just after what, 4 years going on 5 of death? We're going to get at the bottom of this, one way or the other. Right? I know the suspects, right? If it was a psyop, I know the usual suspects will be coming from where, right? The normal. Either Nigeria or Kenya. Sometimes South Africa. Now, why is that? Right? Why is that? I have shown, these are not the first slides I've shown you pertaining to this matter. Right? Most of them were coming from Kenya. Right? And Kenya is like actively under some sort of occupation, I hope they find the courage. That's why I say, I hope. You do not want to surrender to the devils. Trust me. Right? Lot of complaints. India and the rivers and stuff. There should be a program to, like, a large scale program to clean up your rivers. Something we should do in a short term and in a long term. Okay? Surrounded by too much water, and if that water is not managed responsibly, could spell disaster. No, don't call it apartheid. It is antiseptic, you know. You know, they have Peter Thiel's facial recognition program running and all, you know. They are great, you know. They are warriors for God, you know. They are the chosen people. The jokes almost write themselves, you know. Look at this, some advice from the Forbes people. They are telling us how we could gather up more, right? Because the op failed, right? So this is why they come out here, you know. I don't know what they want us to donate. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, post 5 videos about why Iran should have a regime change, you know, 5 videos per day, you know. All these type of recommendations and stuff, you know. Or maybe just stop doing business with Iran, you know. This is one way we can support the protesters. Are we learning the game, people? Are we seeing who is who? I hope we're not wasting time here. Yeah, unabidi uwepo mpango mkakati hapa. Right? Hii ni program ya huko Burkina Faso huko. Napata matokeo haraka sana. Wanalima, wanafuga samaki kwa vizimba. Inabidi iwepo program hapa kubwa kabisa. Na hii shida ni ya kweli, kwamba kuna uhaba mkubwa sana wa samaki. Na kutokana ni daraja jingine la chakula la muhimu tena, inabidi tuweke aina fulani ambapo kutaweza kupunguza gharama ya samaki na pia kuensure supply, kwamba mwaka mzima watu wanapata samaki. Haiwezekaniki kwamba Dar es Salaam sisi tuna shida ya samaki. Kwa maana hiyo hamna watu wote ambao wanaona kwamba hii ni fursa hii. Like, seriously. Mpaka mtu unaweza kusema au kuna conspiracy hapa, au kuna wapuuzi ambao wanafelisha biashara za watu ili baadaye along the way waje kuchukua. Maybe it's like that, lakini hii haiwezekaniki kabisa. Here they go, right? This time it's not a what do they call it? 4 school bus sized asteroid making a flyby the Earth, right? This time it's you know, I don't know, some gravity on, I don't know, around October. There will be no gravity for a few moments, and now I'm hearing also talk about it will be the longest eclipse. Yeah. Fear mongering. Now you should be asking yourself, why are they fear mongering us? if this is completely out of our control, right? Let's just assume in their delusional world, right, that gravity is gonna be non-existent even for 1 minute because of some, I don't know, some heavenly body that is large enough to cause a equalization of the gravitational force field or whatever, basically producing a, I don't know, some sort of zero gravity situation on the earth. Now why the hell are you telling us that shit? What are we going to do about that, right? Gravity is gone. What do you want us to do? You want to like us to tie ourselves to poles on that day or something? Like, what's the point of this, you know? They're calling it expiring. The date has been revealed, right? They are so sure, right? You're telling me this is not the beastie speaking here? Yeah. Yeah, they're guilty of a lot of things, right? Trying to assassinate Putin, riots in Tanzania, riots in Iran, issues in Venezuela. They are responsible for a lot of stuff, you know. And there's ample evidence for it. And then again, what do? They pretend like that evidence does not exist, and then they go back around and talk about, you know, we care for the democratic process of this country, right? And we are locked and loaded to make sure that democracy prevails at the end of the day. Are we learning? Are we learning the game? Are we learning? Yeah, I hope we are, right? I hope we are. Because if we are not, then we have a problem, right? Like I said, right? What's the man's word worth? Right? This is what is going to be measured these days, right? So yeah, we adapt. We adapt, pertaining to all things, and then how these demons are trying to, you know, I don't know, do what demons do. Right? And again, thinking themselves, we are not guilty. I don't know how they came to that conclusion, but that is what it is. You know? Like I said again, it's nothing new. Right? Now it's just the time that we face it. Right? We've been pretending like it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You know, playing make believe and stuff, or even sometimes calling it conspiracy theory. Now we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. So we deal with it. Right? It's not that it's undealable. So anyway, I'm gonna put a pin on it right there, right? And we're gonna pick up the next time you hear from me. So anyway, let me sign out. Prince Easy, love you, bye.